Live from the studios at the University of Kansas, you are watching KUJH-TV News.
If you thought teaching in Kansas wasn't for you, you might want to reconsider. We'll tell you what the state is doing to get more lecturers in classrooms.
And you may have heard a lot about the wage gap recently, but some lawmakers are finally working towards a solution. The latest on the government plan to tackle inequality in the workplace.
Plus, Governor Laura Kelly wants to flip the script on a controversial plant. We've got the story on what the new bill could do for Kansas farmers that want to grow hemp.
Welcome to KUJH. I'm Becky Phelps.
And I'm Warren Sears. Wow, we have a lot to talk about today. Chance for some severe weather this afternoon.
Oh no, it's been so nice.
It has been nice, and it's going to be a little bit cooler. So we actually do have a lot to talk about. So here, we'll get to that now. Warm and humid out there, 75 degrees. So it was a nice spring afternoon. But like I mentioned, there is a lot of moisture in the air, aiding in the formation of those thunderstorms. We are seeing mostly cloudy skies right now. Here's a look at current satellite imagery. Here we are over here in eastern Kansas. We are starting to see a few breaks in the cloud coverage, and that's actually where we're starting to see some of our formation of our first few cells over here, south of Seneca here, so north of Topeka. That's where we're seeing a little bit of our development along that front that is eventually going to work its way down into our area. And we do have another line of some potentially severe storms that are going to set up. So pretty much this entire eastern Kansas area here is a very conducive environment. We'll see a lot of activity starting to form here in the next few hours, especially now that we're starting to see a little bit of the sun popping out. So this is our SPC severe outlook for this afternoon. We do have an enhanced risk. That's the highest risk right now. Down towards our south, we are in that marginal risk. So still do have a chance for some severe weather. I'm thinking mostly in the form of large hail, damaging winds. Those are some concerns, and then flash flooding also, especially for south of Lawrence. South of Lawrence down near I-35. It's looking like that's where it's going to be the best chance to see some of that activity. So we do have that severe potential. We do it for here in Lawrence as well. Much cooler tomorrow, and then the sun returns, and we'll have the details coming up.
Normally, budget cuts hurt the students, but now it's a national shortage of teachers. KUJH reporter Connor Walter is live at Lawrence High School. Connor, what's going on with this shortage in Kansas?
Well, Emily, in this case, there are not enough graduates to take the amount of job offers available in teaching right now. Schools nationwide are implementing programs to try and pique the interest in teaching.
Lawrence High is among schools across the nation shoving more and more students into classrooms due to a shortage of teachers. Average class size has increased from 26 to 38 in the past 5 years. Student Chase Abrams says smaller classes help students learn.
Class that has 25 kids rather than a class that has 60 kids, it's a lot easier for a teacher to put their point across out because they don't have to walk around as much, their audio doesn't have to be produced, they can focus more one-on-one.
Lawrence High School is short 15 teachers, and Kansas as a whole is short 600. Luckily for the state, graduates find jobs within a month by attending state job fairs for much better opportunities. The number of teachers in Kansas is up 19% from last year. Districts are giving scholarships to new education majors. Teacher Jose Antonio Guilan says the way to get more teachers is they have to do a better job at proving to students that teaching is a great opportunity.
Students don't realize that those hours and hours that they're tutoring kids, that they're good at it. And once they realize they're good at it, that's when they realize they have the potential to be a teacher.
Lawrence High.
The state of Kansas is implementing programs like Teach for America to get more teachers and to properly educate as many students as possible. Live from Lawrence High School, Connor Walter, KUJH News. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Connor. The city of Lawrence held an open house Tuesday evening for its newly renovated City Hall on the riverfront. The new space includes a municipal court, the city's prosecutor's office, and a room for human relations. The building features new technology and more storage for old files. Municipal Court Manager Vicki Stanwicks wanted to open up the space to the public so they can see what their tax dollars paid for and how the city staff works.
Give everybody a chance to come through and see our entire space. The courtroom obviously is open to the public Monday through Friday, but our area in the back is not. We handle money, we handle confidential material.
He says the traffic flow of citizens through the court process is much more efficient now, especially on busy court docket days. The federal Senate reintroduced the Paycheck Fairness Act this year. The bill takes America one step closer to closing the wage gap between men and women. KUJH reporter Samantha Gilstrap says some people are oblivious the wage gap still exists.
Kenyan transfer student Brian Lenjo said he wasn't aware of equal pay day until he saw a Snapchat filter.
It makes no sense if you ask me. You do a job, you got to be paid accordingly.
This year, women have to work till April 2nd if they want to make the same wages. The wage gap is even larger for women of color. Sociology professor Dr. Lisa Marie Wright says even as women get a leg up in educational institutions, they are still going to come out making less.
So yes, we may have women that are becoming educated at higher rates. We may have continuing women entering the workforce in larger numbers. But we still have the powerful forces of socialization and our gender roles and our social expectations. So even though more women may be graduating with college degrees, there's still a lot of occupational segregation that occurs.
Dr. Wright says those denying the problem argue women choose to go into certain professions. She says young girls learn social roles that keep them from pursuing different careers. The Paycheck Fairness Act would help combat this inequality by addressing loopholes in the Equal Pay Act of 1963 so that men and women will be paid equally for equal work. In Lawrence, Samantha Gilstrap, KUJH News.
If the Senate and House pass the new bill, the act will equalize discrimination claims based on gender, race, and ethnicity.
The display at the Union is catching viewers' attention and drawing awareness to sexual assault. What Were You Wearing? An art installation detailing the items KU student survivors had on at the time of their assault began at the University of Arkansas in 2013 and has since made its way to college campuses across the nation. The creators of the installation want to bring awareness to the connection everyone has with clothing and to reflect on what gives rape culture myths so much power. Students are encouraged to visit and share their own stories. The installation is on display until next fall.
The famous Budweiser Clydesdales are trotting their way through Lawrence, and you might have the opportunity to catch them. The popular horses are coming to celebrate Kansas's new alcohol laws. The laws allow grocery and convenience stores to sell beer containing up to 6% alcohol. You can stop by On the Rocks Discount Liquor on Mass Street if you would like to catch a glimpse of the Clydesdales. They'll arrive on Saturday, April 20th from 3:30 to 4 p.m.
Kansas Governor Laura Kelly signed a bill that will allow Kansas farmers to grow hemp for industrial use. The new law will take effect later this month. It will replace the state program used only for hemp research and its potential uses for commercial product. Hemp was once the dominant crop of American agriculture. Many different types of goods come from hemp, including clothing, paper, health foods, and CBD oil for medicinal use.
I think it's a great potential benefit for Kansas farmers. One, there is already a market for various kinds of hemp products. I mean, it used to be a big crop here. You know, all the ditchweed you see growing around here was from when hemp used to be an industrial crop, you know, for things like rope and, you know, burlap and things like that.
The Kansas Department of Agriculture must submit a plan to the federal government for regulating commercial hemp production under the new law. The department will work with the office and the governor and the Attorney General before submitting the plan. Governor Kelly hopes giving farmers a new crop to grow will help the state's agricultural economy.
Well, I'm excited about the Clydesdales coming. That is so cool.
What a beautiful breed of horses. Absolutely. So still to come on KUJH News, a fire might have scorched a building 1,000 miles away, but people in Lawrence are still feeling the loss, how the iconic Notre Dame Cathedral touched so many outside of France.
And an infatuation with notorious school shooters puts Colorado on edge. We'll tell you what authorities have done to combat the threat. Stay with us.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Hi.
Hi. Patience. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Less than 48 hours after the Notre Dame was engulfed in flames, donors have pledged hundreds of millions of dollars to help rebuild the iconic cathedral. French President Emmanuel Macron says he wants it rebuilt in 5 years. However, experts say that a full restoration will likely take 10 to 15 years. The centuries-old wooden roof took most of the damage, but the stone walls seem to remain largely intact.
We walked in and actually got to sit down and experience Mass inside, which was incredible. Literally gave you chills.
Despite the immediate efforts to help rebuild, people in Lawrence are still reeling from the massive loss. KUJH reporter Ellen Terhune is live in the newsroom. Ellen, why is the fire so far away hitting so close to home?
Well, Emily, as the fire raged on inside one of the world's most treasured buildings, University of Kansas senior Haley Crumweed watched the footage on her phone in disbelief. She had sat in that cathedral for Christmas Eve Mass just 4 months ago. Now, the iconic church was turning to ashes before her eyes.
We walked in and actually got to sit down and experience Mass inside, which was incredible. Literally gave you chills, sitting in there and seeing it actually happen. It just is really bizarre now knowing that that's the last Christmas Eve Mass in that church, because now it's going to have to be completely redone.
Crumweedy goes to Europe every year and says Paris will always be her favorite city in the world. While she's only been inside the 800-year-old cathedral twice, she says she feels lucky for even getting to do that.
I've seen it during the day, I've seen it at night, I've seen it when Mass is going on inside, and it was something that luckily I was able to see that because so many people have not.
KU art historian Ann Hedman is another Kansan who visited Notre Dame. Her research takes her to Paris every year. She says the cathedral holds some of her favorite memories.
Notre Dame has always been one of the places I go. When I went on my honeymoon, my husband and I went there. When we had our 25th wedding anniversary, he took me there and gave me another wedding ring. And so, in that space, it's just one of the touchstones. I have lots of familial memories in that place, which I think lots of people do.
It's these cherished memories that made the site of the burning cathedral sting so deep, despite the distance from the tragedy. Live in the newsroom, Ellen Terhune, KUJH News.
Outside of this historical significance, religious groups here on campus are mourning the damage done to a major Catholic symbol. During Holy Week, Notre Dame prepares to display its holy relics, and Catholics fill the pews in remembrance of the crucifixion. But the damage done to the sacred monument will dampen the spirit of Easter weekend across the world. As Parisians mourn, members of the St. Lawrence Catholic Center here on campus also feel the loss. Catholic student Drew Canny says the community here is devastated, but they will do what they can to help.
Definitely as a Catholic community, just being able to offer prayers for the firefighters as well as for the Catholic community there. I'm sure it's an emotional loss to have, especially right during Holy Week.
Canny says he hopes this will be a positive reminder of what is eternal and what is temporary.
Passover is right around the corner, and the air is filled with rejuvenation as the Chabad house gets ready for one of the holiest holidays on the Jewish calendar. Jewhawks all throughout campus are getting ready to eat matzah, drink wine, and celebrate the freedom of the Jewish people from the Pharaoh in Egypt. But all of this can't be done until they set up the Chabad house for the Seder this weekend. Fellow Jewish students are coming in to set up the tent, tables, and other decorations so this Seder can be the best one yet.
There's a special energy and spirit associated with this holiday, and when students come to help prepare for the holiday, There's a special energy, a special joy that everybody feels in the room.
Zalman says setup for the Passover Seder will be finished Friday by 4 p.m. Once the setup is complete, the students and other people in Lawrence community will be able to come and enjoy
There's
the
a special
holiday.
energy and spirit associated with this holiday. And when students come to help prepare for the holiday, there's a special energy, a special...
Let's take a quick look at news from across the nation. Authorities report that the Columbine fanatic who threatened schools in the Denver area is no longer a threat after they found her dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The 18-year-old was allegedly fascinated with the 1999 Columbine shooting. With the 20th anniversary approaching, dozens of schools were closed because of the threat. Authorities do not think she ever made it on school grounds. An Iowa college student fell to her death while posing for a picture on a cliff. Andrea Norton was hiking with other students in the Ozarks when they decided to take a picture at Hawksbill Crag last Sunday. The Briar Cliff athlete lost her footing and fell over 100 feet. Authorities are saying this is a tragedy and a reminder of the dangers within popular tourist attractions. The man accused of throwing a child over the railing at the Mall of America appeared in court yesterday.
The man
Emmanuel
charged
Aranda
with this
said
violent...
nothing but the spelling of his name and told the judge he lives in a shelter. Aranda is charged with attempted premeditated murder. This is not the first encounter with the law. He has 2 past convictions of assault, which happened at the same mall. The child is currently in critical condition. And that's your look at news from across the nation.
Well, Warren, how bad is the rain looking?
I don't think us in here in Lawrence will see much in the form of severe weather, some stronger storms, but the severe stuff is looking to set up towards the south. So hopefully that's the case, and I'll keep I'll keep an eye on that as we head on into the break. We'll have more details coming up.
Can we get strawberries? Okay.
My twin brother Jacob has an autism spectrum disorder. He didn't have any friends as a result. It broke my heart. That was the inspiration behind my nonprofit Score a Friend. Educating people to include people with differences is so important because when Jacob's included, he feels like he can succeed in life and he feels like he actually has a purpose.
Well, we are starting to see some activity just off to our north and south, so we do have a conducive environment here, like I mentioned earlier, for a couple of pop-up storms here, and that's how this evening is going to pan out before they pan kind of into more of a line as we head through the evening. So a couple of single cell storms right now. This one actually does have some radar indicated hail within it. So as we head on in through the next few hours, we'll start to see more and more of that activity popping up, and that's due to this cold front that we have here across the state of Kansas. So as that comes closer and closer, that's really what's initiating a lot of our storms and helping kind of force those storms. So along the cold front there, as you can actually see, it's a pretty well-defined front here. You can see some 60s off to our north and west, and then of course here it's nice and warm in the mid-70s right now. We have a lot of moisture from the Gulf that's also aiding, so some warm weather, and we're starting to see the sun as well. So all of those ingredients are definitely helping us out here as we head through the evening for some storm development. Thursday is going to be cool. Friday the sun does return, and then Saturday The warmth also returns. As we head through the evening here, it's going to stay in the 70s, 72 degrees at 6 o'clock, about a 40% chance for some storms. 9 o'clock, 65 degrees with a 50% chance for some storms. So pretty much before midnight, there is still a chance through the whole evening that you could see a passing storm or two. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy again, mostly cloudy and windy again. We can't seem to shake this wind. It's going to be out of actually not the south. It's going to be out of the north, so it's going to be a little bit cooler, 15 to 20, gusting up to 30. So that wind out of the north and 60 degrees will feel a lot cooler than we've been seeing really the last few days. We'll take you hour by hour here. This is our futurecast. This is at 4 o'clock, so you're starting to see a little bit of that development here in eastern Kansas. As we head through the evening, some of those storms will now kind of linearize and go into a line here as we head through the evening. So in the next few hours, the threat for hail is there. I think as they do form into a line, though, and through the evening, that our main threat will be wind. Now, also the severe storms are setting up just right in Lawrence and to our south. So we'll continue to watch as we head through the evening. It's looking like the more severe weather will be down towards our south, like I said, kind of along I-35 and south there. But I still think we'll get some rain, some rumbles of thunder, and definitely some lightning as well. 11. This is at 11 this evening, so more just kind of widespread rain, some thunder and lightning possible as well. And then by early morning tomorrow, it should be out of our hair. So tomorrow, 60 degrees, so it's a cooler day. Like I mentioned, this cold front coming through, so it's going to be 60 degrees and much cooler than we saw today. Then we gradually warm up into the mid-60s, 65 for your Friday. The sun does come back out on Friday, so that's nice. And then by Saturday, 77 degrees. It's going to be a fantastic weekend ahead, and then a couple different chances for some storms as we head on into the early part of next week. But all in all, temperatures in the 60s and 70s.
Wow, I am certainly looking forward to those 70s, but a little rain never hurt anyone.
That may be true, Emily, but humidity is definitely a different story, especially for this Kansas athletes. Make sure to stay tuned as we preview the 90-second Kansas relays. Plus, we take a look at who Les Miles has given the edge for the starting quarterback position. Stay with us.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
Jessica, we need to leave right now. I need to get something. Dance recitals are so boring.
There's a meaning no one knows. Wait until we set
So
free.
what's the empty suitcase for?
The grand prize trophy.
Duh.
Confidence. Pass it on.
I was born to be somebody.
Welcome back. KU football just had their spring game last Saturday, as everybody knows. It was a kickoff of the Les Miles era in the Kansas program. It was fun to see a good amount of fans in the home side of the stadium. The crowd stayed there for the good majority of that spring game. And Les Miles said in his last spring practice presser that Thomas McVitie has the slight edge over Carter Stanley in the Jayhawk quarterback competition. McVitie is a transfer from Mesa Community College. He was a top-rated JUCO quarterback in the class, according to 247 Sports. Now, Carter Stanley is someone who was inconsistent in Beatty's program, but to be fair, there was no consistent starter throughout the season last year. McVitie is a taller, faster, he has better scrambling ability, and arguably has a better arm. All of that is a plus, and the fact that he already has college experience, rather than being straight from high school. Those are all bonuses. Yes, this fall season is a while away, and there's still a lot for both quarterbacks to prove over the summer. Regardless, I think McVitie makes sense as he was a prospect who was chosen by the Miles staff, rather than Stanley, who was picked up in the Beatty's era. I would bet McVitie is starting against Indiana State on August 31st, but who knows? I've been wrong before. Hashtag hail to old KU. That is the football class of 2020's recruiting slogan. The class just got a new recruit yesterday. Keith Miller, the 6'2", 200-pound wide receiver from The Colony, Texas, verbally committed on Twitter yesterday. His tweet read before the announcement, "What is understood doesn't need to be explained." Keith Miller is the third wide receiver in the 2020 class, and he most likely will fill a slot position for Kansas, which should put him in position to compete for playing time right at the very beginning. And here's a look at the 2020 class rankings in the Big 12. This is the first class that Les Miles will be able to recruit a full year for, and the Jayhawks currently rank 5th right here, just behind Les Miles' former team, Oklahoma State. Iowa State is in 3rd, and Texas is at number 2, and Oklahoma is sitting in the 1st spot. Texas, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and Kansas are still even at 5 recruits committed in the early signing period. The 92nd Kansas Relays are being held at Rock Chalk Park. They start today and will run through Saturday. Today there was the men's decathlon and the women's heptathlon today. They aren't finished, but we do have some early results in. In the women's heptathlon, after 2 events, Kansas freshman Tony England was in 2nd with 100-meter hurdles and the high jump out of the way. England was 1st in the hurdles with 14.64 seconds. She came in 3rd in the high jump, leaping over 1.5 meters. There's another Jayhawk in 5th place overall with 2 events out of the way is Cameron Thomas. She came in 6th in the 100-meter hurdles with 15.22 seconds, and she jumped 1.56 meters in the hurdles, coming in 5th. Keep in mind that those results are a little delayed, so it's a little different from now on. And looking ahead to Thursday, there's the hammer throw 800-meter run and the 5,000-meter run, which is Sharon Lokity's bread and butter. She set a school record for it in last year's Kansas Relays. On Friday is when the track really gets busy as high schoolers are in the mix in the competition too, as well as college athletes. Be sure to tune in Friday to get all your Kansas Relay updates. The Kansas Basketball Awards Banquet was last night, and there is only one award given out, the Danny Manning Mr. Jayhawk Award. Dedrick Lawson took home the award at the end of the night. He averaged 19.4 points per game and 10.3 rebounds. 3rd consensus All-Team All-Americans we talked about earlier, Dedrick capped off his speech saying, "KU was truly a blessing for me and it was the best experience he had in college." And in other news, really quickly, everybody's been wondering whether or not Bill Self is going to go to the NBA. And he once again smutted that comment last night by saying that he is expecting to stay here next year and further. That's all for the sports today. What do we got left to do, Emily? Rebecca?
Thanks, Zach. Still to come on KUJH News, 2 directors are reaching out to fans and asking them for a marvel of a favor. What the Russo brothers want Avengers Endgame viewers to do once they've seen the massive blockbuster. Stay with us.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
The directors of Avengers Endgame are asking for a little help from the Marvel movie fan community. Joe and Anthony Russo took to Twitter to ask fans to avoid revealing spoilers about Avengers Endgame after recent leaks of the movie surfaced on social media. The tweet includes a message from the Russos with the hashtag #Don'tSpoilTheEndgame. Marvel fans are in distress about the leak and are advising Twitter users to stop sharing the footage.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but is anyone excited to see the movie?
Absolutely. It's been a long time coming.
I hope Spider-Man comes back. It's my favorite.
I wish I was more into Marvel movies.
Really?
Yeah,
So,
I don't know.
well, you never know.
You never know.
That's KUJH News for Wednesday, April 17th.
To view our stories again or to share them with your friends, visit our website at tv.ku.edu.
And check us out Friday at 4 for the latest news, weather, and sports.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening.